Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but before that, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Bam Adebayo quietly making the leap Heat fans have waited years to see. The Miami Heat have moved past one of the most challenging chapters in franchise history. Jimmy Butler has been traded to the Golden State Warriors, and the 25-28 Heat will now look to end an 8-game tailspin during which they've won just twice. If there's any reason to believe that Miami will right the ship and overcome the loss of Butler and the recent issues on the court, it's the resurgence of Bam Adebayo. Through most of the 2024-25 season, Adebayo struggled to find the form that made him a 3-time All-Star and 5-time All-Defense honoree. It was one of the stories that perhaps flew under the radar on a national level, as the Butler drama inevitably took center stage. In Miami, however, Adebayo's inability to play at the level expected of him has been a significant cause for concern. Thankfully, the 27-year-old has taken a significant step forward in recent weeks. Not only is he beginning to play like the star that Heat fans know he is, but he's made progress in an area of his potential that was previously untapped. The sample size is admittedly limited, but Adebayo is finally looking the part of the dynamic scoring threat that Miami needs him to be. Since January 25, Adebayo has appeared in 9 out of the Heat's 10 games. During that time, he's produced averages of 22.4 points, 11.4 rebounds, 3.2 offensive boards, 4.7 assists, 0.9 blocks, and 1.3 3-point field goals made per contest on .538/.414/.791 shooting. Long known as a competent scorer, Adebayo has embraced a more aggressive mentality that should have Miami captivated by what this could mean moving forward. Adebayo's standout performance saw him put up 30 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals during a win over the San Antonio Spurs. It was one of his 6 double-doubles during this stellar 9-game stretch. It was also one of the 6 games during which Adebayo scored at least 20 points over the past 9 outings, which may be the biggest development of all. Adebayo had scored at least 20 points in just 11 of his previous 42 appearances. Considering he's more than halfway to matching that mark in a mere 9 games, it's fair to say that this is a remarkable display of progress in both mentality and execution. During the 9-game stretch, Adebayo attempted 16.5 field goals per appearance, a drastic increase from the 13.2 he averaged during his first 42 outings. If Adebayo maintains this new level of aggressiveness as a scorer, the rest of what the Heat do on offense should round into form. He's one of the most skilled big men in the association, and his willingness and ability to create for others only stands to benefit from a more thorough approach to scoring. History might suggest that Adebayo will regress to the mean, but with Butler out of Miami, the opportunity exists for the 27-year-old to become the player fans have been waiting for him to be. Draymond Green's prediction for Andrew Wiggins could lead to Warriors disaster. Having departed the Golden State Warriors in the blockbuster Jimmy Butler trade last week, Andrew Wiggins struggled in his 2 games for the Miami Heat prior to the All-Star break. Wiggins was settled with the Warriors after arriving, also via trade, in 2020, so there's no real surprise that he's been slightly below his best to start his Miami tenure. The Canadian has averaged 12.0 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.0 assists in 2 games with the Heat, having shot just 29.2% from the floor and 23.1% from 3-point range. Given Wiggins enjoyed a strong bounce-back season with Golden State prior to the trade, most expect the 29-year-old to find his groove and become a valuable two-way presence for a Heat team that's still battling for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Warrior veteran Draymond Green has been left with little doubt that Wiggins will be a big acquisition for Miami, even going as far as to suggest that he could make another All-Star team next season. He's a champion. I think he's going to go to Miami and have great years, and guess what? Don't be surprised if Wiggs is an All-Star again next year, Green said recently on his podcast with Baron Davis. Wiggins was an all-star for the first time in 2022, having actually started for Team Durant alongside Trae Young, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum and Joel Embiid. Many rival fans were left frustrated by that selection given Wiggins averaged just 17.2 points that season, but he quickly quietened those critics by lifting his game even further in the playoffs and becoming the second-best player on a Warrior championship team. Obviously all Warrior fans want Wiggins to go well, such was his impact on the team and place in Golden State history, but they shouldn't want him to dominate to the point where the trade becomes a disastrous one for the franchise. If Wiggins does return to the All-Star game, then that puts even more pressure on Butler to deliver given what the Warriors have relinquished and invested in order to land the 6x All-Star. At a minimum, Butler would also have to be an All-Star next season, and most importantly lift Golden State into a strong playoff spot. With Butler and Wiggins being the key cornerstones of the trade, the result of this deal years down the track will be determined by how they perform and their impact on the respective teams. As hard as it was to see Wiggins depart, the Warriors will be hoping it was ultimately the right decision. It's all love. Jimmy Butler provides some closure on his Heat tenure but admits facing them will be personal. Golden State Warriors star forward Jimmy Butler will have a chance to take on his old team from South Florida before the end of the 2024-25 regular season. The Warriors are slated to play the Miami Heat on March 25 in what will be a road game for Golden State. Fans of the Heat will have to wait more than a month for that game, but the 35-year-old has already given some insight into how he'll approach the contest. While Butler admitted that he has nothing bad to say about the Heat organization, he also said that he'll be extra motivated to earn a win against his old squad. "It's all love," he said. "I've been in the trenches with Miami for the past 6 seasons. And like I tell everybody, the way that they want to beat me and make sure that they beat the Golden State Warriors, I promise you it's just as personal for me as well. But love those guys over there, great organization. It didn't end the way that everybody hoped that it would end, but that's just part of the business of basketball. I don't have anything bad to say about that organization." The Heat shipped off Butler to the Warriors before the trade deadline in a 5-team deal that also involved the Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons, and Toronto Raptors. In giving up one of their better players in franchise history along with some other assets, Miami received forward Andrew Wiggins, forward Kyle Anderson, guard Davion Mitchell and a protected first-round pick. Butler shouldn't be shocked if he doesn't exactly get a warm welcome from Heat fans when his Warriors come to Miami next month. After all, the last month or so of his tenure in Miami was marred by multiple suspensions. He played his final game in a Heat uniform in a loss to the Portland Trail Blazers back on January 21. But before the Heat focus on coming out on top in their contest against Butler and the Warriors, they should first worry about getting back to their winning ways in the weeks leading up to that game. Miami has struggled quite a bit as of late and is currently amid a 4-game skid. The Heat are also several wins below the .500 mark on the season at 25-28 and sit as the number 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. However, Miami will have a shot to win its first game in over a fortnight when it plays the Toronto Raptors on February 21. And you fan? What do you think of Jimmy Butler's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.